And welcome back, everybody. We're going to start off our show, as always, with our college football game of the week. And this week, we go all the way down to Florida and Tallahassee, where the Florida State Seminoles took on the Clemson Tigers. And this was a landmark game for quarterback E.J. Manuel, as we are going to roll the stats for you right now, or the highlights, rather. E.J. Manuel, in this game, became the quarterback that he was promised to be in Florida State, and boy, did he show it.
Yeah, coming out of high school as a top recruit in the nation at quarterback, he really hasn't performed really well this year so far. This game was really a step above for him. He threw for over 300 yards, rushed for over 100. He's the first quarterback since Charlie Batch to do that at Florida State.
Charlie Ward, rather. Charlie
my
Ward
fault.
with Florida State. But as you see here in the second half with a running and passing attack, Florida State went wild, and they couldn't be stopped. As the final score in this one, they scored 49 points, almost bridging 50, as they won 49-37 against Clemson. Here, E.J. Manuel, his stat line, 27 for 35, 380 yards for 2 TDs, not including his rushing TD, and he ran for over 100 yards in this game, as you mentioned as well. Ty Boyd for the Tigers, 20 of 36 for 237 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. But what I want to go into this coverage right now is how big of a game this was for Florida State, who has had a few mediocre seasons in the ACC.
Yeah, Florida State really, it seems that they've taken that jump to be an elite program in the BCS this year. They haven't reached a BCS bowl since 2003, in which they played Penn State, of course. They really look to get on that level again to play for a national championship, and they look like they could possibly dethrone the SEC this year.
Absolutely, and now it's also easier for them, since USC had that loss to Stanford early in the season, to potentially get into the BCS championship talk now. You definitely have LSU, you have Oregon as well in that mix.
Alabama
is pretty much going to be the number one favorite going to that championship game. Where do you see FSU for the rest of the season? They have not so tough a schedule playing an ACC conference. Where do you see them towards the end of the season?
See, but the thing about the ACC is anyone can upset anyone at any one time, because you saw it last year with Florida State. They had a few unexplained losses that they shouldn't have lost. It happens every year. There's huge upsets. I don't know where I see them. I would love to see them in the national championship. They sure deserve it. They played on that level, especially against Clemson this past week. I would love to see them in the national championship. And the door really opens up for them, because LSU and Alabama do still have to play each other. So one of those teams,
November 3rd is that game.
No, one of those teams is going to have a loss. So if they can remain undefeated, they'll cruise their way into the national championship.
Now let's talk more about E.J. Manuel, as we have his stats here for you. The quarterback, as we said, top recruit. It was the first Seminole quarterback to rush for 100 yards and pass for 300 yards in a game since Charlie Ward in 1992. And these are his stats when he threw for 20 yards or more. Pretty impressive completion percentage, 72.7, 3 touchdowns, especially from this past 2 weeks, and he has a TD percentage of 27.3. Remarkable numbers for a guy last year who was very mediocre, had an even touchdown to interception ratio. It's great to see the Seminoles possibly break away now in the ACC to maybe be atop of college football gold.